Assalamualaikum, greetings and peace be upon you. Welcome again to our podcast episode of BapaHebat Ayahku series brought to you by BapaHebat SG. This podcast program is sponsored by Center for Leadership Forum and supported by Yayasan Mendaki. My name is Hadi Salleh and I am a volunteer with BapaHebat SG. We are here at Studio 5 Spaces for this podcast recording. The theme for our podcast series this year is Ayahku, and we have invited celebrities, public figures, and people from all walks of life to be on our show. Our guest today is a public figure who shares the same acronym as celebrities and sports legends such as Michael Jackson, Mick Jagger, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, to name a few. Let's introduce her. She is our very own MJ, the Honorable Madam Mariam Jaafar.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you, Hadi. Nice to be here.
How was that introduction? Was it good? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Glad to have you here. I like to thank you for taking your time to come to our show. I know you're a very, very busy person.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Right, today we are not going to talk about your politics, your work. Today we're going to talk about something that I think most people do not know. It is your childhood, your growing up years, particularly your father. Or rather your relationship with him and how he brought you up, his parenting style, his characters, and all the anecdotes that you can share with us, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, and you have already agreed that you will share everything, right?
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, now, for those who may not know, Madam Mariam is graduate from Stanford and Harvard. She is the Member of Parliament for Sembawang GRC, the Jurong Division, Woodlands Division, yeah, since 2001, is it? Since 2000?
No, 2020, sorry.
Since 2020,
2020,
okay.
yeah.
Now, on top of that, she is also the. Can you share with us what is your
work
job?
You mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm managing director and senior partner at the Boston Consulting Group, which is a management consulting firm.
Yeah. So how do you manage all these things?
I thought you said it wouldn't be about
Yeah,
me.
I know, but just like to get you into the mood, like how do you manage all these things? Like,
I think A, not too much sleep, but B, also, enjoying and finding meaning in everything that I do. That I do really helps, right?
Yeah.
So, and, I have a very supportive husband. And we don't have children, so I guess I have that much more time to spend.
Because
outside.
I noticed that you always have this ready smile on your face, and
Both my husband and I actually.
Really?
I think people know us because of our smiles.
Okay, now let's take us back to the beginning. The beginning. Let's take us back to the beginning. How far you want to go? Like when you were 3 years old, 4 years old? We can start from there. Your choice. It's your story.
Anything then? I mean, well, I'm one of 5 children.
Okay.
Yeah. So my father was a Malay teacher. My mom was a nurse. I'm the second of 5 children. So I have an older sister and 3 younger brothers. Okay. The last 2 were twins, so born quite far apart from the rest of us. So.
You cannot play cheat, right? Because this one I can read from the Wikipedia.
Okay.
Okay, we're not gonna stop there. Okay, I'm gonna dig further.
Okay.
Okay, you know my profession, right?
Sure.
Anyway. Okay.
Investigations now.
about your parents and your
Yeah.
5 siblings. Okay, you already mentioned that, and then you grew up in a one-room flat, right?
So that was when we were born.
when you were born,
We
yeah.
were born. It was a one-room flat in Toa Payoh.
Toa Payoh.
And then we moved to when I was still young, like 4 years old, 3-4 years old. We moved to Clementi. And then we just went further and further west each time. So from Clementi we moved to Jurong.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I think and I think our journey was like many Singaporean families then. Just very normal family that and that benefited, I think, from a lot of the social mobility that Singapore has offered to all of us, right? In terms of progress and things like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as you can remember, how old were you when your dad started not transferring? He was you mentioned that he was an engineer before, right? Or
He worked in construction.
Yeah.
Because he worked in construction for a while he was doing his teaching certificate,
Okay.
getting a job and things like that, right? He was a classic. He was born in Pulau Bukom. He was born in Malacca, but he grew up mostly on Pulau Bukom. So with my grandfather was working for Shell at that time.
I see.
So he used to tell us stories about how he would have to. There was no school on the island.
There was no school.
There was no English language
okay.
school. So to go to school, he would have to take the boat and then either walk or take a bus to his school. So he always told us to be grateful for what we had. Life was so much simpler. So I mean, they came from very humble beginnings also. So I think he missed quite a lot of school sometimes to work or he
To earn
used
some pocket money. Probably.
yeah. So when he was younger, I think after school he was jog kuih and things with
Okay.
my grandmother would make kuih. He would sell it. He used to tell us about studying under the street lamps,
Wow.
like that kind of thing. There was I remember I saw his report book once, and I think his attendance for 1 year was, I think, maybe less than 10%, and he still passed his exam. So I was like, very way to go, Dad. But I think no. It was I don't remember which school. Somewhere in Pasir Panjang, I think.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he lives in Pulau Bukom, but he has to travel
Yes.
to the mainland to
Yes.
attend school. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because there were no English schools in Pulau Bukom. He wanted to go to English language school. Yeah.
Okay. So after that he started working in the construction industry.
Yeah.
How old were you when he moved to?
Before I
teaching?
was born.
Before you were
I was born.
Okay. So when you were born, he was already teaching.
He was already a teacher. Yeah.
Okay. What was your first recollection of your dad? How old were you, and you start to realize that, oh, this guy is my dad.
I think when I was probably a baby, like 1 year old. Before I remember
when you started to sometimes when you think that, okay, this guy is my father. I have to listen to him, or have to treat him as with respect and all that. There's a certain age, right? I mean, when we
maybe
were
about
young
2,
babies,
two or three. Two or
Okay.
three was probably when, I mean, you know that you I think even when you're younger, you know what family is. But I think, of course, when you can start talking and he can, bring you places that you remember, start reading to you and things like that, right? So that's when you I guess make that connection.
He's hands-on father.
Very much so, especially on education.
Wow.
So I guess as a teacher, he was always a big believer that education would open up opportunities for all of us.
And
right?
how did he
So-
make sure that His children are really, into it.
He actually taught all of us, right? So
He tutor you.
yeah. So
Oh,
I
okay.
think well, the good thing for me, I was very lucky that I had, and my sister is only 1 year older. So he used to teach both of us together. Because economies of scale, right? When you teach one person,
Right,
then you
right.
can get. So that means that I was learning whatever my sister was learning, and so that automatically meant that you were ahead of the class by at least a year.
Oh, I see.
And so
Okay.
that made, I think, school relatively very easy actually,
For
because
you.
I had already gone through it with my sister. So, but he would. I think always. This is when I am older, but when you're 5, 6 years old. I always remember that sometimes, he would come home, have his coffee, and one of the then very soon you would hear take out your math book or take out your vocab book, and so he would he would do that with us, right? Take us through the syllabus. I think when we were young, I always remember I love reading, and I think it's because he introduced reading to me very early with the Peter and Jane books.
Okay.
If you remember, this is Peter, this is Jane, this is
Yes.
Pat the dog. So we had the whole series, and he would read to us. And actually, the same Peter and Jane books he also bought later for my nieces and nephews when they were born. Sometimes in like just a couple of weeks after they were born. But he really felt like that. That built your foundation in English and reading and things like that. So, so I think we always knew that reading was important, learning was important. He even when you go out, he would tell us to bring a book with us, a little notebook, to if you see any new words or something. So we had to keep a vocab book. And we had to learn 3 new words a day or something like that. And, so he said, learn 3 new words and write some beautiful sentences with it. That was our daily assignment. And then after we got to a point where I didn't learn any new words today, then he will push the dictionary across the table and say, find one. So that's that sort of thing. When we go out. He used to take us a lot to, the Botanic Gardens, Haw Villa, that kind of places. And we would, write names of the trees and plants that we see and things like that. So it was very much, it really encouraged the curiosity and the desire to learn. Yeah.
How old were you then? Like in primary school? Or?
Oh, that was even before primary school. Like maybe when I was 4 or 5,
And how long did he continue to do that?
So until we were in primary 6, right? So secondary school, you're on your own. But but he was, he always believed that he needed to give us a good, solid foundation.
Fantastic.
And that was, primary school, I guess.
Such a doting father.
I was very strict, so
Of course,
I'm not sure that that was.
Because the
let's
first
just
two
say there
are-
was quite a lot of crying in some of the early lessons. But
Okay, share with us what are the strict moments that you had to
No,
encounter.
when you're lazy, when sometimes when after school you don't want to, you're a bit slow to take out your math book,
Okay.
right? Or you get something wrong that you really shouldn't have. Like so, he's a very strict, and as a teacher, I think his students that I met later told him that he was also very strict, but he was also very funny. So that's what they appreciated about him, a good sense of humor.
Right. When he was teaching, he taught in primary school, right?
Primary school,
okay.
yeah.
But he was teaching Malay language in
Yes.
primary
So
school.
he actually was a teacher in my school. So when I was in primary 1 to 3, I went to we were RGPS, both my sister and I, because we lived at Clementi, and that was actually a school nearby. And then we moved to Jurong, and he started teaching. Was teaching at Bukit Patok, in primary school there, and so he took us from Raffles Girls Primary to Bukit View Primary, and all my teachers were quite upset over there. But he always said that I think he was very early in the thinking of every school is a good school, and it was much more important. He felt that we didn't have to travel too far to school, and he could just. We could take a ride with him to school. That made a lot more. So I think he had strong convictions about some of these things that really came through to us.
Let's honor him. Let's introduce him. He's Cikgu Jaafar.
Jaafar Harun. Yeah.
Harun.
Yes.
Cikgu Jaafar Harun. So for those who remember the late Cikgu Jaafar Harun, that's a dad lah. And he's a very we're going to share a lot of stories later on. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, which is after he had sort of like solidified the foundation for you and your sisters, right? Of course, I am sure he did that for your other
brothers
three
too.
siblings too, right?
Yeah. Boys are naughtier than girls.
Of
so.
course, yeah.
I think
So
there
he
was a
must
lot
have
more scolding
had
with
his
the
hands
boys
full
than
then, right? Yeah.
yeah, my brothers who wanted to go catch spiders instead of read, that sort of thing.
How did he motivate you and your sister? How did he motivate you to be disciplined, to open up your books and do all these things? How did he motivate you? I mean, like, he cannot be like, scolding you, right?
No,
So,
it was a mix of. I think it was a mix of, making it still fun because we were doing all these things like going out to learn about things that you actually saw in real life.
Right.
But B, I think one thing I always got from him was he had high hopes for all of us. Right, he really believed that we could go somewhere. He wanted me to be a lawyer. Actually, he always he
Your
said.
sister? What he wanted her to be?
I don't remember. I think perhaps also a lawyer, but the reason he told us was, if you study hard, you can be a lawyer, and every signature will cost. Just sign something, and it costs you will get $500 or something like that, right?
Okay.
And he said that and he always said that you can. He believed in us, right? So he always said you can go very far.
So you had that aspiration, or you wanted to be a lawyer because you were just studying and then.
Yeah, did I want to be a lawyer? Yeah, because there were some very good TV shows at that time. I don't know if you remember Matlock.
Oh yeah, of course.
So it seemed quite cool to be a lawyer. Yeah, but I did not become a lawyer, just to be clear.
I know. What about your sister? I mean, she decided to
So she was an
be an educator.
Yeah, but she was an engineer first, and then
okay.
she switched into teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this engineering must be in your blood or something, probably, because
No,
he
I
must have
actually don't think so. I think
No?
it was a function of we're good at math.
Oh yes.
And so for your A levels, I took both my sister and I took double math combination, right? So further math and that was so-called the engineering faculty.
Okay.
If you took F maths and C math, was it at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, and physics, and then chemistry was what I took, right? So that was the engineering faculty. So it seemed like, I guess, a very natural thing from
Humanity.
from our studies. Yeah.
Okay. So when you progress to secondary school, and your dad no longer did his hands-on teaching and all that, what did he do to make sure that you are on the right track, you are doing the right thing, and you are progressing well?
So I think by that time he had I think we were pretty motivated students already at that time. So quite a good kid, I guess.
Yes, I would say so.
But again, it was, I think because school was always busy, right? You have ECA, you have, different things that you're doing after school. And I think he knew that we were not, he actually gave us quite a lot of independence, like when I was in secondary school, our school was very near Orchard Road,
Right.
so it was very
Danger
easy
zone.
to spend time at Far East Plaza or something
Yeah.
afterwards. But I think we always did our work.
You were
so-
not one of the Lucky Plaza girls, right?
No, Far East Plaza,
Far
maybe.
East Plaza.
Center Point. Okay.
Center Point girls, Center Point kids, yeah.
But I think the school was also a place where people were always motivated to. I mean, our whole environment was a school where people were motivated to do well anyway. So he didn't have to give us the extra push, I think.
Right.
But he always gave us that belief and like, how is school going, and for me, I never had tuition. But when my sister wanted some tuition, I think in secondary school, and he got it for her.
Right.
So it was because he knew he didn't know the subject.
Yeah. Did he
By that
monitor
time, he
your
didn't know
grades,
the subject
your
themselves. Yeah, I would
progress?
monitor. Well, I think the first thing I do when you get your report book, you show it to him, right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're not worried about that, lah, huh?
No.
Okay. Oh, smart student. How can you remember how proud he was when both of you and your sisters got into Raffles Girls?
Um.
I mean, it's an elite school. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is still an elite school. So,
Yes.
how can you remember how proud? he was?
I think he was proud, but
Did
he
he ever?
didn't make
Did he
a
ever
big.
say that I want you girls to?
Yeah, he still does. I mean, even to my nieces and nephews, you can make it to RGS or you can make it to
Okay,
RI,
alright,
that kind of
okay.
thing, right? So he definitely wanted to. I think primary school he thought whatever, it really doesn't matter. What matters much more is the education I give you at home than than necessarily what you learn in school. But I think for secondary school, for JC, certainly for university, he always pushed us he always encouraged us to go to so-called the best schools that you could get into, right? So,
What made you think? What do you think made him put this education as like the top, the utmost priority for his children? Like,
maybe because he was a teacher, but and he's always been motivated to see not just us but generally Malay kids do well, right? Like because he taught in a lot of schools where that had a fairly high proportion of Malay kids,
yes.
and some from fairly low income families. And I think as a teacher, even back then, sometimes having to go to the homes to make sure that kids come to school, like he would
Right.
have to do that sometimes, right?
Yes.
And so he really, really thought that school was important, and was the ticket to getting anything that you want, right? Whether it's a good job, a good house, or things like that. And he would do little things. Now I when I became an MP, somebody wrote to me. She was the niece of his best friend.
Okay.
And she said that, your father was, when my dad passed away, he said, your father was my dad's BFF.
Wow. Okay.
He always remembers because when she passed her PSLE and did well with it, my father gave her a check. And it was like the first time she ever got a check in her life, so it really made her feel proud and very motivated. So I was like, "Yep, that's my dad doing EduSave before before it became a thing, right?" So it was always these little rewards because we know that when we, after exams, you can. At that time, like after exams was the time you go to Do you remember Gay World or Happy
Yes.
World or
Gay World,
those were
Great World.
Great World,
Yeah.
and go to the amusement park.
Yes,
so it was so
yes.
much fun, and
Oh,
so
okay.
those were the little rewards
Rewards
that we
that you
got
get.
every time we post exams and things like that. So, and he continued that throughout his life because we talk about lifelong learning then.